Let's check out the brand new Beyerdynamic Space Max. It's a premium conference speakerphone especially well suited for hybrid meetings with multiple participants in the room. You can connect it to a smartphone or PC and then use it with your favorite video conferencing software like Zoom or Teams. I've been using the Beyerdynamic Space Max for the past 2 weeks. Big thanks to Beyerdynamic for sending me 2 of these and for sponsoring this video today on Markus Presents. The recommended retail price is around $400 US or euros, and you can learn more with the links in the description below the video. Let's start with the unboxing of the Beyerdynamic Space Max. The first thing I notice is that the packaging is very eco-friendly. It's just a brown box with these decals on the side. As we open the box, there is a flyer thanking you for your purchase, and on the reverse side, Beyerdynamic tells you a little bit about how they work with sustainability. For example, the battery is replaceable if needed. Inside the box, we get a USB-C cable that you use to connect and charge the Beyerdynamic Space Max. Do note that that is a paper string tying together the USB cable. Nice eco-friendly practice. Next, we have this compostable corn bag, so still zero plastic packing material in here. And inside, we find a USB-C to USB-A adapter. And now over to the Beyerdynamic Max device itself. And the first thing I notice is that it is quite heavy. This feels like a really sturdy product. In fact, it weighs 680 grams, which is about 1.5 pounds. We'll have a closer look at the design in more detail in just a moment. On the underside of the device, there is a 1/4" 20 screw mount, which you can use to mount this on a tripod. There is also a space for the optional Bluetooth adapter. When we lift up the paper tray in the box, we will find a carry bag, and this is really nicely lined with this soft material that's definitely going to protect your device from scratches. Finally, there is also the instruction manual in multiple languages. Let's have a quick look at 2 of the optional accessories. The first one is the Bluetooth adapter. It too comes in an eco-friendly package with no plastic used at all. This is just carton. This Bluetooth adapter works with the Beyerdynamic Space Max, of course, but also with other products from the manufacturer like the Beyerdynamic Space and the Beyerdynamic wireless headphones. The second optional accessory is this Cascade cable. You can use it to connect 2 Beyerdynamic Space Max devices together for use in bigger rooms. We'll test that later on in the video as well. Now let's have a closer look at the design of the Beyerdynamic Space Max. All the connectors are on the back of the device, and the USB-C connector in the center is what you use to charge the device and also to connect it to a PC. Of course, you can also connect this device via Bluetooth to a smartphone or a computer, and that looks like this.
Battery 40%. Your device is connected. Your device is connected.
The reason why it's saying your device is connected twice is because I've paired this with 2 different Android phones. Pairing with any smartphone is easy, but it works particularly well with Android devices through Google Fast Pair. I switched on the Beyerdynamic Space Max close to my Android phone, and this suggestion popped up on my phone screen asking me to pair it. The device was added to my list of devices on my Android phone and in my Google profile, and that means that the device was already available on my other phone as well. I could just click to connect it without needing to pair it again. On the back of the Beyerdynamic Space, the second USB port allows you to use the battery as a power bank for charging a phone, for example. The 3.5mm jack on the back of the device is for using that Cascade cable for connecting 2 devices together. There is also a place for a Kensington lock here in case you want to lock this in a meeting room so that it doesn't get taken away by mistake. Finally, there's a power button on the right-hand side. On top of the Beyerdynamic Space Max, the controls are laid out in a circle. These are not buttons, they are more like a touch-sensitive area on the ring here. Going clockwise from the top left, we have the battery status button, the Bluetooth button, the mute button, the answer call button, then we have the volume up and down, the hang up or reject call button, and finally a multi-purpose button. You can use the multi-purpose button, for example, to pause and start playback. That's what I typically use it for. You can press it twice to skip to the next song, or press it 3 times to go to the previous song.
I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in.
You can also hold down that multipurpose button to start your assistant like Google Assistant or Siri. On the outside of the ring, we have these LED light indicators. For example, this is going to show you the battery level or the volume when you change it. The top of the Beyerdynamic Space is covered in this fine fabric, and it not only looks great, but it also protects the device against the environment. The Space Max is rated IP64, which means that it is dust-proof and can also handle splashes of water. Before we move over to the microphone test, let me say a few words about the optional accessories. The Bluetooth adapter was a really good choice for me because my desktop computer doesn't have built-in Bluetooth. The benefit of using the Bluetooth adapter is that you get full functionality out of all of the buttons. This includes, for example, that the volume will be synced between your device and your PC, which is not always the case if you're using the built-in Bluetooth function in a laptop, for example. This is especially important in calls where Zoom and Teams, for example, will sync the mute button as well as the answer and end call buttons. The Cascade cable plugs in like so, and it allows you to use both the speaker function and the microphone function of both devices in a large meeting.
Cascade successful.
So let's test the microphone and its range in this meeting room. And we're going to start with just one Beyerdynamic Space device. This is an audio sample of the Beyerdynamic Space Max at approximately 1 meter's distance. In this sample, the device is connected with the built-in Bluetooth in my laptop. Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Microphone check 1 2. This is an audio sample of the Beyerdynamic Space Max at approximately 4 meters distance. In this sample, the device is connected with the built-in Bluetooth connection in my laptop. Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Microphone check 1 2. This is an audio sample of the Beyerdynamic Space Max at approximately 4 meters distance. In this clip, I have connected the device with a USB cable into my laptop, which is recording this in Audacity. Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Microphone check 1 2. I think the microphone quality and the range is really impressive. And in those clips, you can hear how the device adjusts the volume when I'm further away from the Beyerdynamic Space Max. It has 4 microphones built in, and it adjusts to the direction that the speaker's voice is coming from. At the same time, it attempts to eliminate any background noise. Here is now a brief illustration of the Cascade functionality in action. This is an audio sample of the Beyerdynamic Space Max recorded in Zoom. I have hooked this up now so that I have 2 of the Beyerdynamic Space devices connected with the Cascade cable. And I'm going to walk around to give you a little bit of an impression of how the audio pickup might work. So let me go behind the camera. I'm going to walk over to the other side there. So here I'm in frame. Both of these devices are approximately the same distance from me. So let me walk over here and have a seat over at this position where I have the light. Now one of the devices is closer to me, the other one is much further away. And I'm going to continue the sample just by walking out of frame on this side. Now I'm nearer to the camera and I'm walking back towards the laptop. So that should give you an idea of how well the system is able to pick up the voices of people in various places in the meeting room. Now let's talk about the quality of the speaker. This is a 2-way speaker, which means that inside the device there are 2 individual elements that will cover different parts of the frequency range. When you use it, you can really hear it. This device sounds great. I've used it for listening to music, to live streams, to YouTube videos, and to podcasts. It's of course difficult to illustrate the quality of the speaker in isolation in a video like this. I am working on a separate video where I will compare the quality of the Beyerdynamic Space Max speaker to the speakers of other comparable speakerphones. Make sure that you're subscribed to Markus Presents to be notified when that video goes live. One of the special features of the speaker function is that you can activate this RGB mode, where the ring will change color depending on what is being played back. If you have two Beyerdynamic Space Max devices, you can connect them together even without the cable, but this works only for the playback function.
Cascade enabled. Cascade successful.
And if I let you in, another.
Whether you use the cable or not, you will get true wireless stereo, where one device will play the left channel and the other one will play the right channel. And in this mode, the audio quality that I get out of these devices is very impressive. Here are the pros and cons of the Beyerdynamic Space Max after I've been using it for around 2 weeks. I've used it in the office, I've used it at home, and I also used it in my Toastmasters club to run a hybrid meeting for around 10 people. The first pro is the microphone quality. It works really well, even at different ranges, because it does adjust the microphone volume. Also, the Cascade function is really helpful in larger meeting rooms. I also like the build quality. This really feels like a very sturdy device. In addition, I think the device is also really beautiful. This is a nice looking device that's going to fit in any conference room. Another pro is that the device is loud. Previously in my hybrid meetings, I primarily used a single Beyerdynamic Space, the original version, and it was kind of on the edge. Is this loud enough for everybody in the room to be able to hear? With the Beyerdynamic Space Max, that is definitely not a problem, especially when I have two of them in the room. Everybody in the meeting is able to hear what is being said online. I purposely have not made too many comparisons to the original Beyerdynamic Space, but do let me know in the comments if that is a video that you'd be interested in. The Beyerdynamic Space Max also has a few cons, and the most notable for me is that the controls are not intuitive. There are a few different aspects that contribute to this impression. Firstly, the icons around the buttons are tiny. They are difficult to see because they're all the same size and the same shape. You really have to look closely to find the right button. At least for me, it always takes a few seconds until I can find the right button, and one thing that contributes to this is that the device is round and symmetrical. Yes, I know that the volume buttons are always on the front side, but when you move it around, like you often do in a hybrid meeting or even when you're using it around the house, the orientation is going to change. My objection here is maybe a little bit difficult to explain, so I will try to illustrate it with 2 clips. In these clips, I have changed the orientation of the device and then I'm walking towards it. Look at the clips and have a look. How quickly can you identify one of the buttons, let's say the mute button, for example, when you're approaching the device? The Cascade cable also has a few limitations. Number 1, I think is too short. It barely reaches across one of these tables, whereas ideally, I would have liked to place the devices on opposite ends of this meeting room. Number 2 is that the cable only comes in one color, Nordic gray. And that of course works great when your device is Nordic gray, but if you have this charcoal version that I do, then the cable just doesn't really look very elegant when it's a different color. And this is particularly surprising because the USB cable always matches the color of the device. None of the cons I've mentioned are deal breakers, and the Beyerdynamic Space Max is a great device. If your budget allows for one or even two of these devices, your meetings will sound excellent. Learn more with the links in the description below the video. So the Beyerdynamic Space Max is great for bigger meetings, but for individual use or for small meetings, the Beyerdynamic Space, the original version, is a great choice. Click or tap the screen right here to watch my full video about this device. Thank you very much for watching. Markus presents today.